Hey, what's up, guys? We're back again with another video. Tougie's Take. It's here because we have stuff to talk about. Again, easier for me to make a video if there's more to talk about, because with some of these you'll be able to tell it's like, yeah, I'm not going to just make a 2-minute video about it. So yeah, let's talk about a bunch of stuff at once. And first and foremost, number one, yes, I know, we're rocking all the rival jerseys. Shout out to Stevie, though. It was a gift, man. Even if it's freaking gigantic on me. It was a gift. And I love it. I wasn't going to make a video about the whole Jay Bouwmeester debacle. I'm not judging anybody that did. For me, though, that's just not something that I wanted to do. And if I made it, I wouldn't have felt comfortable advertising it in a way. You know, I didn't want to make a video too early talking about what happened with Bouwmeester, simply because it's like, okay, we still don't really know. Yesterday, the news did come out, though. A successful procedure, an ICD, a defibrillator. Jay Bouwmeester's career, unfortunately, is likely over. The fortunate side of things is that he's probably going to be able to live a happy, healthy life with his family, and that is the most important thing. Obviously, you look at his career, the tenure that he's had. You look at the fact that he got the Stanley Cup last year, and, obviously not overly happy about that, but, sports allegiances and who wins the Stanley Cup, that doesn't mean shit. The important thing here is that it looks like Jay Bouwmeester's going to be all right, and that is by far the most important thing. And, we've seen it a couple of times, players collapsing on the bench, and you don't know. You look at the Craig Cunningham situation where it's like the guy lost, a fucking leg. And you look at this situation where it's like it could have ended so poorly. So poorly. So, again, best wishes, obviously, to Mr. Bouwmeester on his recovery. And at the end of the day, have we seen the end of his career? You would assume so. But the important thing is, though, that he's going to be able to go on and live a happy and healthy life from the looks of this. So, obviously, again, and if you put the hockey blinders back on, the sports fandom side of things, it's like, man, you get to look at images of Jay Bouwmeester raising the cup last year, and, yeah, they are much... I mean, if they weren't already kind of, interesting images to look at, I mean, it's like, man, the guy's 36 years old, too. The guy's 36 years old. And at the end of the day, you finally got this. It's like you look at that picture now, it's like, man, you got nothing left. You got nothing left to do, in terms of hockey. It might not be, if this is the end, it might not be the way a hockey player wants to go out, basically having your body be like, okay, you're done. But still, you have that moment at least. So, again, very happy that he is okay. Bruce Boudreau was the 8th head coach fired this season, and he probably won't be the last if we had to guess. Now, is this a good move for the Minnesota Wild? I don't know. It probably is, and this comment kind of sums it up well. It probably is a result of just, hey, he's not Bill Guerin's guy. He was already there, of course. He survived some interesting situations. Now, they're not going to hire a full-time replacement this season, which is weird, though, because Guerin's like, we're going for the playoffs. It's like, probably not this season at this point, even though I predicted that they could make it. The interesting thing that I saw, though, and shout out to JFresh99, in, this headline, too, is just that in terms of the, a defensive system, we focused a lot on Barry Trotz and the New York Islanders and what they have done. The Minnesota system, the Bruce Boudreau system, has been fantastic. The numbers are here to support that. It's just that Devin Dubnyk and Alex Stalock haven't been that great. So, ultimately, somebody has to take a fall, and the easiest, person to have take that fall, especially when a new GM is brought in at the beginning of the season, is for it to be the head coach. So, do I expect, again, we talked about it, 8 head coaches have been fired. Is Bruce Boudreau going to find work? Absolutely. Whether or not postseason unfortunate mishaps continue to happen, time will tell. But he will absolutely be a head coach in this league. Again, there's no doubt about it. And if I'm Nashville, No disrespect to Nashville. I don't know how Preds fans feel about John Hines. Boy, though, would have been nice had you waited a little bit, not named John Hines your head coach. Bruce Boudreau was available. Might have been worth waiting on that front. Andreas Janssen is going to be out for 8 weeks. So, we're dropping an upvote on that. Someone check on Steve Dangle. I put up a tweet the other day. We'll see if we can track that down here really quickly. I put up a tweet the other day, gained a little bit of traction. Here we go. So I put up this tweet the other day, and I still kind of believe that. Leafs fandom, at least online, goes to extremes a lot. That said, this year there are some reasons to be overly concerned. Freddie Anderson still doesn't look like he's healthy. You've lost Morgan Riley. There have been a lot of injuries, of course. Not that other teams haven't had injuries. Pittsburgh, Columbus, for example, and had their fan bases, at least from what I've seen. Maybe it's because, of course, the Leafs fan base is friggin' gigantic, and there's just a lot more people, so you're bound to hear from them more often. But I mentioned, Leafs fandom's a bit more, I'll say, polarizing because of how they go to extremes, as a generalization, when you don't really hear that from, Columbus or Pittsburgh when they're struggling with injuries. But at the end of the day, Leafs fans have reason, to be a little bit concerned, and I don't blame you guys, you guys as, the Leafs fandom, as being oh, good things are finally going to happen, and then you have this, tumultuous season, whether or not you guys end up making the playoffs. You guys could win the Cup this year. Toronto could win the Cup this year. That's still true. That's still a true statement. You catch fire through the rest of February, which could happen. Good things can happen. Or not. You could miss the playoffs. Hockey's weird like that. St. Louis was dead last, of course. Vegas made the playoffs. It's the Cup final in their first year. The LA Kings were the 8th seed in 2012. They won. Crazy things can happen, as we all know. But, very, very unfortunate break again for them. Speaking of fortunate breaks, Zdeno Chara wasn't suspended. Now, oh God, what is it? Here's your replay on Twitter. Ended up blocking me because initially they put up a clip of, this incident between Chara and Gallagher, and it just kind of, the clip they posted just showed, the shoving and then Chara cross-checking him essentially in the throat. I still say Gallagher was hardly an innocent bystander off the draw. They were swiping at one another, then there was the scuffle, then there was the cross-check. Initially the narrative was another dirty play Chara gets away with, and Gallagher didn't do anything. How are those offsetting penalties? Gallagher wasn't innocent in that situation. Matching roughing calls, yes. Until Chara cross-checked him. It should have been 2 for Gallagher, 4 for Chara. You could even say 7 for Chara if you wanted to. But I agree, there should have been more on Chara. My take on this was, though, okay, let's not just say that Brendan Gallagher did nothing. He engaged in the scuffle. That is what it is. Is it ridiculous that the fine's only $5,000? That just has to do with the CBA, again, that is what it is. At the end of the day, people consider fines and suspensions a joke. It's a really fine line that the NHL and the NHLPA walked on to get the CBA in order, and of course how much money people make, how much you're allowed to fine them. That's a whole different conversation. But yeah, should have been fined, probably. Suspended? Maybe. I get it. People are very upset that, they view Chara as someone who gets away with a lot. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I'm not going to say that he doesn't get away with stuff. Someone who doesn't get away with stuff, though, is Zack Kassian. Suspended for 7 games for kicking Erik Cernak. Now, here's the thing. This is going to be a video, right? Yeah, I can't play that. That's fine. The thing about Zack Kassian, there was a quote of his where, he basically said, I just kind of brushed him. I didn't kick him hard. You still kicked somebody. I get it. It's a tussle. Your legs are being pinned down. You want to get up. You kind of kick at somebody. But it is your responsibility as a human being and a hockey player to realize that you are responsible for your own actions, whether or not they are reactionary or not. You're still responsible for your actions. As a result, you get 7 games. Am I surprised it was 7? Yeah, I thought it'd be less, to be honest. Should it have been more? You could certainly argue that. Kassian's had a very interesting season after all. But at the end of the day, again, I don't really think there's an argument for ever kicking towards somebody with your knife feet. You are wearing ice skates. You cannot kick at somebody. Ever. Kick, stomp. No. It's not allowed, man. It's not allowed. So, good on the Department of Player Safety for getting that one right. Again, we kind of talked about it with the Chara thing. There's a lot of things that they have gotten right, haven't gotten right. It's in terms of officiating, fines, suspensions. We could be here all day talking about what they get right, what they get wrong, what's bullshit, what isn't. At the end of the day, it's, you just kind of spin the wheel and, oh, it landed on that this time. Cool. That's how I view it. It's kind of how I view replays. It's how I view penalties at this point. It's just all right, spin the wheel. What's it going to be this time? Yeah, this one was in our favor. Cool. That's kind of how I view it. I expect no consistency from the league whatsoever. That said, that pretty much covers everything I want to talk about today. Hopefully, for those of you that do check out these videos, by the way, I do greatly appreciate you, because I know obviously in terms of, them compared to the franchise stuff, they don't do as well. But still, I like making these videos. I know it's a bit interesting to, or a bit different to hit multiple topics instead of just one, like hockey guy style or gravity style. But, yeah, I enjoy talking hockey from time to time. But, yeah, that's going to do it for this one. So you know the deal. Drop a like on the video. Please do it. Subscribe as well if you haven't already. Both of which greatly help me out and will help me not have to answer the question for that much longer of why don't you have more subscribers, because that will help out tremendously. Check out everything in the description, of course, if you haven't already. All the socials are there, Insta, Twitter, the Discord, Patreon, of course, Twitch. Shout out to all my patrons, by the way. I love you all. I will see you next time. Goodbye.